If you liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. This video is going over the 3 melee weapon options for the Adeptus Custodes: the Guardian Spear, the Castellan Axe, and the Sentinel Blade with their Praesidium Shield. I will quickly go over the Vexilla with their Misericordia 2. We will go through each weapon in depth, along with some rules to buff these weapons. The Custodian Guard can equip them all, while the Wardens and the Allarus can only equip the Castellan Axe and the Guardian Spear. Let's start with the iconic Guardian Spear. The Guardian Spear has 5 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 7, AP 2, damage 2, wounds anything toughness 6 to toughness 4 on a 3+, and anything toughness 3 or less on a 2+. Anything higher than toughness 7 will be wounding on a 5+, which is most vehicle and monster units in the game. They are very good at killing anything toughness 7 and under. AP 2 and damage 2 in melee can rip units apart. Let's take a look at some of the rules in our detachments that can buff the stats of the Guardian Spears. For buffing the stats of these weapons is the Shield Host Detachment. The Shield Host Detachment rule is Martial Mastery. At the start of the battle round, you can select either one of these points. Each Adeptus Custodes model with the Martial Kata, melee weapons equipped by that model gain the critical hits on 5 ability, or Adeptus Custodes models with the Martial Kata, their melee weapons gain the +1 AP. Into certain factions and lists, this detachment rule can turn the Guardian Spears into Super Blenders. If the opponent has a lot of 4+ invulnerable saves, critical hits on 5+ is the way to go. Extra AP matters little to invulnerable saves. If the enemy does not have a lot of invulnerable saves in their army, the extra AP can be terrifying. The Guardian Spears would be at 5 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 7, AP 3, damage 2. That tears through toughness 4, 2 wound 3+ save models like they were not even there. Also very deadly into knights. I put 4 AP 3 Guardian Spears with lethal hits on a 6+ and reroll wounds into an Imperial Knight Armiger. After the 6+ saves from the Armiger, the units dealt 22 wounds. That was 11 failed saves. If we can access reroll wounds, these Guardian Spears become vehicle and monster killers. There is a Shield Host enhancement that we can put on a Shield Captain that will buff up the Guardian Spear. From the Hall of Armories, add 1 strength and damage to the bearer's melee weapons. Now this is an interesting enhancement for the Guardian Spear. On a Shield Captain, it will have 7 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 8, AP 2, damage 3. Strength 8 is a nice breakpoint for the common toughness 4. Damage 3 is what we need for killing elite infantry. We can even boost this to AP 3 with Martial Mastery. The next detachment is the Lines of the Emperor. We're going to look at the enhancement Ad Monte Mortis. Shield Captain model only, improve the strength of the melee weapons equipped by the bearer by 3, and improve the armor penetration and the damage of those weapons by 1. This can be used with a Shield Captain equipped with a Guardian Spear. The Guardian Spear will now be at 7 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 10, AP 3, damage 3. Not quite the same threat as the Ad Monte Mortis with the Castellan Axe into a high toughness enemy unit. It still can do some great damage. AP 3 is no joke. We do see this enhancement on the Castellan Axe or the Shield Captain on the Dawn Eagle. It is an option for the Guardian Spear. The Axe seems to be the favorite for Ad Monte Mortis. The last detachment I'm going to look at is the Solar Spearhead Detachment. And we're only looking for things that buff the actual stats of these weapons. The next one is another enhancement. This is on Adeptus Custodes model. Improve the attacks, strength, and damage of the melee weapons equipped by the bearer by 1. Between these 3 weapons, the Guardian Spear seems to be the better choice for this Solar Spearhead enhancement. The Guardian Spear would now have 8 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 8, AP 2, damage 3. The Castellan Axe has the big damage 4 from the Adamantine Talisman. It also has AP 1, and AP 1 is too low to be a reliable threat. A Shield Captain is not my first choice for this enhancement. If I was going to take one, I would bring the Guardian Spear or Melta Spear. The biggest reason we see the Guardian Spear in so many lists instead of the Castellan Axe or the Sentinel Blades is the AP and damage. The Castellan Axe is AP 1, the Sentinel Blade is damage 1, while the Guardian Spear is AP 2, damage 2. The extra AP and damage may not seem like it matters that much. When most of our damage output comes from the fight phase, the melee weapon matters a lot. The Custodes want reliable damage. AP 1 or damage 1 is not reliable Golden Warrior damage. I have mentioned the Castellan Axe a few times, So let's move on to the Castellan Axe. The Castellan Axe has 4 attacks hitting on a 2+, strength 9, AP 1, damage 3. The highest strength and damage but the lowest AP out of the 3 main weapons. AP 1 does seem a bit low. I would trust my armor on a spear stab rather than a huge double-handed axe swinging at my head. Only our shield captains, Allarus and Wardens can equip the Castellan Axe. The AP 1 is what hurts the axe. Terminators or Space Marine vehicles with the Armor of Content will be saving on a 2+ or a 3+. Thankfully, there is a way to boost the AP and damage output of these axes in our different detachments. Let's start with how we can boost the Armour Penetration of the Castellan Axe. The Shield Host detachment rule, Martial Mastery, can give the Castellan Axe critical hits on 5s or an extra AP in the fight phase. Critical hits on a 5+ is great. The only thing is the Castellan Axe will still have that AP 1. We will get more wounds through, but how many will be saved? The other option for Martial Mastery is that extra AP 1. That will really benefit the Castellan Axe. The problem with it is that it also benefits our other weapons too. I think the axe gains the most though. Going from AP 1 to AP 2 is a big damage boost. AP 2 damage 3 is elite infantry killing territory. We also have the From Hall of Armories enhancement that can be put on a shield captain model only. That will add 1 strength and damage to the Castellan Axe. This is another enhancement for a character that does not add extra AP. The axe will now be at 6 attacks, strength 10, AP 1, damage 4. My rule is if the buff does not add AP, it is not worth using the axe. AP 1 is not strong enough to threaten toughness 2 save targets. Even the 3+ save targets will be brought to a 4+. That is a 50% chance to save that damage 4 attack. The detachment rule can add an extra AP 1 to the axe. 6 attacks, strength 10, AP 2, damage 4 sounds much better. Next up is the Lines of the Emperor and the enhancement Ad Monte Mortis. Shield Captain model only, improve the strength of the melee weapons equipped by the bearer by 3, and improve the armor penetration and the damage of those weapons by 1. The one and only reason we equip the Shield Captain and Allarus with the Castellan Axe. It takes the axe up to strength 12, AP 2, damage 4. If it did not improve the armor penetration, I doubt we would see this as much on the Allarus Shield Captain. The Ad Monte Mortis Axe Captain has the potential to do some insane damage in the fight phase. Our last detachment once again is the Solar Spearhead. The enhancement is Adamantine Talisman, Adeptus Custodes model only, improve the attacks, strength and damage of the melee weapons equipped by the bearer by 1. Another enhancement adds some extra stats to a character melee weapon. Unlike Ad Monte Mortis and Lions, it does not add any armor penetration. The Castellan Axe we buffed up to 7 attacks, strength 10, AP 1, damage 4. Without some extra AP, the Castellan Axe will have a hard time getting through saves. AP 1 is very unreliable into those 2+ save targets or even the 3+ save targets. It's not that reliable. Those are the buffs from some of our more popular detachments. Shield Host is the only detachment I would equip the Castellan Axe on a non-character unit. Without any way to boost the AP, they have a hard time getting wounds through on enemy armor saves. Some decent enhancements to buff an Allarus Shield Captain with the axe, Ad Monte Mortis being the standout. How does the Sentinel Blade with her Praesidium Shield compare to the axe and spear? The Sentinel Blade with the Praesidium Shield. The Sentinel Blade is a weird weapon profile for a giant one-handed custodian sword. The Sentinel Blade has 5 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 6, AP 2, damage 1. It is the damage 1 that takes the fun out of this weapon. I would much rather AP 1, damage 2 on these one-handed swords. Damage 1 really hurts these. We do get the Praesidium Shield, which adds +1 wounds to the model. Only the Custodian Guard or the regular Shield Captain on foot can equip the Sentinel Blade and Shield. The +1 wound does not outweigh the loss of the damage from not taking a spear. Can any detachments fix this? Let's take a look at the Shield Host detachment rule, Martial Mastery, where we can either get critical hits on 5+ or an extra AP on these Sentinel Blades. Martial Mastery is the only real relevant rule for the Sentinel Blade. On a Shield Captain, we can equip a Guardian Spear or Melta Spear with the Praesidium Shield. A Sentinel Blade has the exact same amount of attacks as the spears on a character, 7 attacks. No reason why not to take a spear. The Custodian Guard, on the other hand, are forced to take a Sentinel Blade if we want to equip a Praesidium Shield. Martial Mastery can add an extra AP 1, AP 3 damage 1 Sentinel Blades. The damage 1 is what drags these blades down. I really think they should at least be AP 1 damage 2, maybe even 6 attacks instead of 5. Right now the extra wound from the shield does put the guard up to 4 wounds per model, great for tanking damage 3 attacks. It is not worth taking an entire unit of Sword Board Custodian Guard. Those are the main reasons we do not see the Sword Board Custodian Guard used in more Custodes list. First being they only can be equipped to the Custodian Guard or the Shield Captain. Second being the Sentinel Blade is only damage 1. That hurts the most. The extra wound from the shield does make them much harder to kill with damage 3 attacks. Throw a unit of 5 Sword Board Custodian Guard on an objective or a charge lane, that will be 20 wounds with a 2-up and 4+ invulnerable to deal with. But like I said, it will not do a lot of damage in return. Damage 1 is just not good enough for Custodes weapons. What about the Vexilla with the Misericordia? This is an option for the Custodes Wardens, Allarus, and the Guard units. Equipping a Vexilla will add +1 OC to each model in the unit. The Misericordia is a dagger melee weapon, 5 attacks, hitting on a 2+, strength 5, AP 2, damage 1. If you can believe it, it is only 1 less strength than the giant Sentinel Blade. The Custodian Guard, 1 model can equip the Vexilla, Shield, and Misericordia. The Allarus, 1 model can equip a Vexilla and Misericordia, while the Wardens have it best with 1 model with a Vexilla and Guardian Spear or Castellan Axe. The Wardens, we will always take the Vexilla, there's no reason why not to. The Custodian Guard, most of the time we do take a Vexilla in the unit to buff up the OC. The Allarus are made to kill stuff, the Vexilla is not worth the loss in damage. We have looked at all 3 of these weapon options, which is the strongest choice? That would be the Guardian Spears. The Castellan Axe with Ad Monte Mortis or the Vexilla are the only exceptions. Yes, we can bring the axes to AP 2 in the shield host, they do become more reliable. The Guardian Spear will also raise to AP 3, and AP 3 can blend up a lot of units. The axe is AP 1 and the sword's damage 1. The Guardian Spear is mathematically better in most situations in the game. -1 damage does really hurt the spears though. The Custodian Guard or the Allarus can gain reroll wounds, strength 7, AP 2, damage 2. The Guardian Spears become anti-tank weapons with reroll wound rolls. It is why we see the Allarus attached to the Allarus Shield Captain with Ad Monte Mortis to gain reroll wounds into character, monster, and vehicle units. Custodes love reroll wounds. We hit on a 2+, reroll wounds pairs well with the Guardian Spear. The Castellan Axe only has strength 9, AP 1. It makes it a subpar anti-tank option. Why not strength 10? Strength 10 would be a much better breakpoint for this Castellan Axe. Unless the Castellan Axe or the Sentinel Blade does see some changes, the Guardian Spear will be the more popular and the overall better choice for 10th edition Adeptus Custodes. I hope this answers the question, spears, axes, or sword and board. If the stats of the weapons were changed around, I think we would see more variation. I appreciate GW giving us multiple weapon options. That is the downside of fixed points. Even if we have multiple options, one is going to be better than the others 99% of the time. The Guardian Spear wins because it is the most average weapon, the most reliable into many different targets. AP 1 on the axe just feels bad. Did I miss anything that may make the axe or the sword more in line with the Guardian Spear? Throw it down in the comments. Subscribe for battle reports, list videos, and other Warhammer 40K content. Channel members gain early access to videos and access to the channel Discord. Like always, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by.